So hello everybody watching. Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Abstracts. I think this is season 2, episode 5, right? And today I'm joined by Satoko Kato and Yoshinaga Miyoko as well. So thank you both for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you for having us today.
And I will have introduced you with the text accompanying the show, but could you both give a little brief self-introduction to who you are?
Okay, so I'll start. I am Satoko Kato, and I am an associate professor at Kanda University of International Studies in Japan. And I specialize in learner autonomy, teacher autonomy, advising in language learning, teacher education, advisor education through reflective dialogue. And I was born in Tokyo, Japan, but I have gone back and forth between Japan and other countries since I was 1.5 years old. And I went to kindergarten in Germany. So my second language was actually German, although unfortunately I don't speak it anymore. And then I went to elementary school in Switzerland and Japan, junior high school in France and Japan. So I guess I picked up my English from everywhere. So some people even say that my English has a German accent.
Okay.
Yeah. And I went to high school and university in Japan. And later I completed my master's degree at Teachers College, Columbia University in New York, and my PhD at Hiroshima University in Japan. And now I belong to Research Institute for Learner Autonomy Education, or RELAY, we call, at our university. And RELAY was established in 2017. And we focus primarily on research and practice in learner autonomy, teacher autonomy, and reflective dialogue. And I was one of the founders of Relay, together with Joe Mynard and Hayo Reinders, who are well-known experts in this field. And I became learning advisor at course in 2006. And I worked closely with learners, supporting them developing autonomy and deeper awareness through reflection and dialogue. And I enjoyed my job so much that I somehow became an advisor educator, even though nobody asked me to do so. It was not in my job description of anything. I volunteered myself to develop this advisor education program. And it has been about 20 years now, and I have conducted over 4,000 advising sessions.
Wow.
But I still genuinely attracted to this field, advising and reflective dialogue. And you will probably notice that as we talk through the Learning Mindset Notebook today. So that's my self-introduction.
Right. No, that's great. And obviously your passion is very clear. Yeah, Miyoko Sensei, how about you?
Okay. Hello, I'm Miyoko Yoshinaga, a professor at the University of Osaka, Japan. So Tom-san and I both work at the same university, so a kind of a colleague, but since we belong to the different faculties, so today is the first time we've spoken directly, right?
That's right.
So thank you so much to giving us this wonderful opportunity. Okay, and I was born in and raised in Osaka. Satoko Sensei is lives in all over the world, but I am a kind of the domestic person, so I live in most of my life in Osaka. Osaka is known for its unique dialect, and I usually speak Japanese in the Osaka dialect. So my English might have a slight Osaka accent, maybe. And I finished my master's and doctorate degrees at the University of Osaka. And after working in Aichi University of Education for several years, I returned to my university in 2006. So it's also have been 20 years since I go back to my home university. And now I mainly teach Japanese to international students. And my research interests are in applied linguistics and Japanese language education. And I'm also involved in training programs for Japanese language teachers.
Wow.
Yeah, and the reason I started working with Satoko Sensei is I have read the Reflective Dialogue, which is written by Satoko Sensei and John Maynard Sensei in 2016, maybe. And it was very, really exciting for me. And until then, I have been talking with the students about their goals and study plans in my own way, but I didn't realize there's actually a name for it. So it was very surprising for me. And I was really especially impressed by how clearly the theories and the strategies behind the reflective dialogue were explained in that book. So maybe firstly, I sent an email to Satoko Sensei and a kind of love letter for her. And Satoko Sensei and Jo Sensei kindly said yes to translate that book into Japanese. And so that's why we study and learn together to make the learner autonomy very popular in Japanese language education.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, great. So you, how do you manage your collaboration with each other?
Well, maybe this is just one time to meet each other directly, right, Satoko Sensei?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I clearly remember when Miyoko Sensei approached us. So before the Learning Mindset Notebook, I co-authored a book called Reflective Dialogue with Joe Mynard, and that was about advising and how we can conduct reflective dialogue in quite an organized way. So it was really a guidance book for the people who are just about to learn what advising is. And
Right.
one day, the publisher contacted us and said, there is someone who was interested in translating the book into Japanese, and that was Miyoko Sensei. And we had never met her before, but in her email, she showed her passion, and she said that she had a strong passion to bring this book to Japanese reader. And Joe and I were so impressed
Right.
with her strong will and passion. So we said, yes, please. That was
Right.
how it started.
It's so interesting because I think passion is a really, really important thing. So what is it, for example, before we talk about the book, about your work, like Satoko with learning advising, Miyoko Sensei with teaching Japanese to international students. Where do you find the drive and the passion from that job?
So when we talk about advising in language learning, it is all about activating reflective processes through one-on-one dialogue with learners. And our goal is to support learners in becoming more autonomous in their language learning. And to do this, we start by listening to the learner. And this is what we call reflective dialogue. And reflective dialogue starts with questions, but not just any questions, but these are the questions that make learners stop and think. And they're quite powerful. For example, like, how do you feel about your learning right now? Or if you're learning while climbing up a mountain, where do you think you are at now? So these are the questions you cannot have quick answers to. And you have to stop and think, and sometimes you have to explore yourself deeper in order to answer these questions. And through this process, learner become to notice so many things. Sometimes you get to observe this aha moment in the session, and this moment is so powerful that you can't miss it. So that's how I got attracted to advising. These
Okay.
moments are really, really powerful and
So
beautiful.
so for you, it's one-to-one?
Yeah, usually it's one-to-one. Sometimes we do group advising, but usually one-to-one session is the
Okay,
main
I
thing we
see.
do. Yeah.
Right there. And Miyoko Sensei, how about you?
Yeah, I teach Japanese in mainly the classroom. And the first class, maybe the students get very nervous or have some anxiety and makes very little bit shy. But after they talk to each other and learn Japanese to express their own feeling or the experience, they change it very much. Maybe the shining of the eye is very sparkling.
Right. It's the passion.
Yeah, and maybe the energy of the young students inspired and give me much energy to work
Of course.
better and help them to
Right.
live more better way.
I think in a one-to-one setting, like Satoko is working with, you can direct your attention to a single person,
Sure,
right?
sure.
And listen very intently to what they are saying and
Yeah.
propose kind of tailored ideas and solutions to them. How do you think about the difficulty of kind of taking that approach into the classroom with your students?
Maybe in my language class, the students comes from all over the world.
Okay.
So their mother tongue is very different. And of course, the cultural background is very, a kind of cultural background. So they have many various way of thinking or values. So sometimes it has some conflicts between the culture or the value or the way of acting or saying. So something it is very difficult to manage. But after getting know or understand each other, they have much more changed and feel sometimes unity or combination. So it's very nice to the international classmates.
So building a nice supportive classroom climate or atmosphere, right, is important.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we always say that although like advising is one-to-one, we always say that this process approach can be applied to any kind of settings. So like even in classroom setting, you can use just 5 minutes to let students reflect on something by asking reflective question as a whole class, or you can pair up students to do this little dialogue, and that can turn into like advising process or activating the reflective process. So it can be applied to any kind of setting. That's what we believe. And because people attending our advisor education program, most of the people are classroom teachers, not advisors. Right?
Yes,
so that's how they adapt our approach into the classroom teaching.
I can imagine. Yeah. So, well, talking about different learning contexts, maybe we can start talking about the main subject of the conversation, which is you can see on the screen. It's this new book, The Learning Mindset Notebook, which was published this year by Candlin Mynard. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and you're in control of the slides.
Okay,
so if you want to control them or change them, you can.
Yes.
But I actually understand that this is the translation, right, of a Japanese original.
Exactly. Do
you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yes, originally the Learning Mindset Notebook was published in Japanese in 2024 from Osaka University Press, and it was translated into English by Candlin Mynard e-publishing this year. And what's more, the story continues. It is planned to be published in Turkish by the end of this year or early next year. So
amazing. Congratulations.
Yes, we're
That's
so
wonderful.
thrilled, right, to see things are growing.
So what is the target audience of this book?
Language learners who are struggling, who are trying to create a good habit, or for trying to explore who they are as language learners, trying to promote learner autonomy. So that the people we wish to use these books.
And you said that it was based on some earlier work that you had done as well. What are the kind of connections between your earlier work and then how that developed into this this version of the book?
Okay, sure. So this is a notebook where you write and revisit over time and time, and it's based on 8 principles and 31 activities. And these are all coming from our advising practice and reflective dialogue and promoting learners' reflection to promote autonomy. So it's coming from the theoretical background of learner autonomy and also educational psychology. Some parts come from self-determination theory, so we kind of combine that and into, but it's quite difficult for learners to understand what they are. So
Right.
yes, the previous book, the reflective dialogue, was for educators to learn about the process of promoting learners' reflection and autonomy.
see.
But this one is for learners, for themselves to use. Yeah, that's that difference.
And do you introduce the terminology, for example, in your classroom, Miyoko Sensei, do you talk about self-determination theory, autonomy,
Ah,
reflective dialogue? Do you use that language with the learners?
no, not exactly. But after maybe in the later session, I will talk about the classroom in the graduate school. So it is a kind of the very special class, and I have a lectures about something like the second language acquisition
I
or the
see.
motivation and so on. But usually in the Japanese language classroom, I never say that kind of
Right.
technical term.
Right, of course. And I can see on the screen here it says it's a notebook to be used. There's principles and activities, but I think they are much more user-friendly.
Mm, mm. So there are many activities in that notebook. So after explanation, so the readers will fill in their feeling or the experience or plan or something like that. And writing maybe makes their thinking more clearer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely. I noticed that as well. So what are the kind of principles and activities in the book?
Yes, so we have 8 principles which are on the screen, and as we just said, these are based on research and academic perspectives on learner autonomy and educational psychology, and also SDT and all those things. And we're just going to briefly talk about these strategies, and it might be better to actually show you what kind of activities we have in the book rather than us talking about the theories.
Sure.
So we just briefly go through the book, and when you open the book, this is the first page you see, and it's a declaration page. And this is a really simple but powerful step for learners to take. The learners make a commitment to themselves for the next 12 weeks that they're going to do it. They have to put their signatures on and also state that they declared. So yes, by writing this down, signing it, they make that commitment and get the ownership for their learning. So
Okay.
that's how it starts. Yeah. And the next step is this page. You will see this page. So they create their own title for this notebook. Again, this is a really simple step, but learner feel that this notebook is theirs by doing this. And yes, here are some examples that our learners have put as a title, like "No More Giving Up Notebook," or "Small Step, Big Change Notebook," or "The Next Version of Me Notebook."
Are these real titles?
Yeah, I mean, like some of the students who have used the notebook have
That's
put these
wonderful.
kind of So like Tom, you are using you were learning Japanese, I guess.
Yes,
If you were to use this notebook, is there any titles you would like to give?
Yeah, sure. I think so because I've lived here for a long time. I'm sorry, I'm in Japan too, for the audience in case they don't know. And I guess my philosophy to learning has been, affected by that experience. So it's slowly, gently, like type of approach. I've learned more. So I think one of the things I like about Japanese is the idiomatic phrases, yojijukugo in Japanese, right? Right? So for anyone that doesn't know, these are short phrases made of 4 characters that sum up a much larger concept or idea in one. So Nisshin Geppo,
Oh,
right?
Whoa.
So that means baby steps,
Mm.
right? Baby
Mm.
steps, right? So I would call it that for me, right? About my Japanese learning. What do you think about my title?
Awesome, wonderful. Yes, yes, yes. I'm using this notebook right now, and I put 1% better every day notebook.
Okay, right,
That's from the book from Atomic Habit. I
right.
really like the phrase. I put that on my notebook title.
Okay, so we had a similar
Yeah,
idea, right?
I
Similar
really resonate
approach.
with your title.
Miyoko Sensei, what did you think
Uh,
about my title?
yeah, it's very nice. And where did you find the Nishin Geppo? In
So in my electronic dictionary that I have on my phone, um, yeah, but I like them. I like that category of phrase in general, yeah, because they help you seem fluent, right? If you can use idiomatic language. So yeah, it's always fun to learn rather than explaining something in lengthy,
ah,
terms.
that's nice. The word you find is shows your value, like the goes into step and so on. So it's
Yeah,
very nice.
right. Yeah, well, it's going to be the title of my my notebook, so it has to represent me. Okay, so first we would sign a declaration, right? And then um make a title.
Yeah.
Okay, so we did that. Let's say I signed mine today. I did
Okay.
it. Okay, and I've made a title. Okay.
Yeah. So you go
What's the next step?
so you go through step by step from principle 1 to principle 8, and each principle has its own activity
Wow.
attached to. So they're quite visual. We try to make it
Mm.
fun to use for
hmm
learners. But we think that tools themselves are not the goal. A tool only becomes meaningful when it helps learners reflect more deeply.
Of course.
So, and sometimes tools can act as a trigger or bridge for reflection. And yeah, so that's why we have come up with 31 activities.
That's a lot.
Yes.
So there's probably some repeating value, right, in the book.
Mhm.
Like the people can trial and error. They can try one
Exactly.
tool, maybe it doesn't work for them, maybe they can try another one, something like
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Some are visual, some are more like text, the writing based. So
Mm,
it depends on your preference. You can
okay.
always choose which one to use.
So if it were me, if you were, advising me, I'm looking for advice. So I've come to the right place about my Japanese learning. Okay, so what should I do as step one?
So advising is not about giving advice, but we start with questions, right?
Okay, okay.
So what would you like to improve in your Japanese language learning? That's the first question
Mm,
we would ask, probably.
okay, okay. Should I answer?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
I, so I'm fairly happy with my speaking ability, right? And conversational listening ability. That's fine. And I don't need handwriting
Mhm.
ever,
So
really.
it's mostly through communication that
Well,
you need
well,
Japanese.
email writing and things is
Mm-hmm.
fine, but that's possibly something
Mm-hmm.
I would
Mm-hmm.
like to improve. But recently I went to an art gallery. It was
Oh, that's great.
yeah, went to an exhibition of oil paintings from
Oh,
the last, I don't know, few hundred years, and I was really happy that I could read and
ah,
understand
that's
most of
wonderful.
the text
That's
accompanying
your
the
Japanese must be really high level if you
well,
could
yeah,
read
so
that.
reading and understanding the meaning,
Mm-hmm.
yes. And also I've done research as well in Japanese where I've read the
Wow.
research papers and absorbed the meaning. But I
Mhm.
noticed, when I was trying to read the sentences next to the paintings in my head, there was
Mhm.
often lots of gaps in my
Mhm.
kind of specialist vocabulary so I could understand the meaning,
Mhm.
but the pronunciation was
Mm.
lacking, right, in some of
I
those
see, I
things.
see.
And, I'm not upset about that because it's
Mm-hmm,
very specialist
mm-hmm.
technical vocabulary, but it would be, my next step for me, right,
Mm-hmm.
would be to develop that area more.
So it sounds like you're really good at speaking and communicating with people in Japanese. And at the
Mm,
same time, your academic Japanese is quite high level because you can
mm.
write articles and papers in
Uh,
Japanese, right?
I didn't write it.
Mhm.
We did a literature review
Literally,
papers
literally.
where I read lots of
I see, I
research
see.
that was written in Japanese and then,
Mm-hmm.
coded it into English. So
Mm-hmm.
what I'm trying to say is my comprehension is okay for reading,
Mm-hmm.
but it's particularly the pronunciation of
Mm-hmm.
specialist vocabulary or unfamiliar
Mm.
vocabulary to
So
me
you're
that
talking about quite sophisticated Japanese
mm,
pronunciation. Is
yeah,
that what
yes,
you're
yeah, that's
because for
fair.
the daily conversation you were quite good,
Yes, yeah.
right?
And mm, for, I can inquire about the pronunciation or the meaning. So I don't need
Mm-hmm.
support with that, but it's
Mm-hmm.
like I know what yeah,
Mm.
I want to develop that area of
Oh,
my
that's
of my
wonderful.
language ability.
So
Mm.
Tom, how would you feel? How do you think you would feel if you could acquire that skill, if you could pronounce the sophisticated Japanese?
I would feel,
Hmm.
I suppose, very validated,
Validated.
yeah, in all of the efforts that I
Mm-hmm.
have taken to,
Mm-hmm.
I've tried hard to learn the language, but
Uh-huh.
I moved here to Japan when I was
Mm-hmm.
21,
Mm-hmm.
so I I recognize that there's a kind of a little ceiling
I
there.
see.
Like I'm not young. I wasn't that young when I came here, so
Mm-hmm.
my brain is not a sponge. It's not
Mm.
not my first language, so there's, a limitation there. And I'm working. I have a full-time job, so there are limits on my time as well. So if
Mm-hmm.
I could extend my language ability to that level,
I see, I
I
see.
would be very happy to have, accomplished
Wow.
something really hard, I think.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
the validation is quite powerful word.
Mm.
And I've just met you like for the first time today, but I can see that you have gone over so many obstacles and you would put so much effort in learning Japanese and breaking the ceilings. So I can
Mm.
see that you're a really strong-minded person and you can act that out. And
Mm.
I could really feel that. Ne, Miyoko sensei, how do you feel about that? It was really powerful story that Tom just
Yeah,
shared with us.
yeah, it's very interesting, and I was very fascinated what Tom said. And maybe do you have any connection with the Japanese like researchers or some academic groups in now?
Yeah, I suppose my coworkers, yeah, at Osaka
Oh,
University.
all
Mm.
right.
Hmm.
So do you have any chance to talk with them in Japanese to use some technical
Uh,
words?
yeah, I suppose about kind of academic matters. Yeah, I guess I do.
Oh,
Yeah, when we socialize or when we meet in the break room at work, or I guess if we collaborate on a project together, yeah, I
ah,
suppose we would. Yeah.
ah,
But
okay.
normally that those conversations do not happen spontaneously or very
Mm,
very frequently.
mm,
Yeah.
mm, 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 mm. So, do you have any chance to show your pronunciation in that conversation with your
Mm,
colleagues or something?
I mean, I would say rarely,
Ah,
rarely at the moment. Yeah,
mm,
rarely.
mm, 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 mm.
So should I try to find opportunities to pronounce more?
Ah, mm, mm. What do you have any obstacles to show some kind of conversation or something?
Um, no, not obstacles, it's time for
Ah,
me. Yeah, for
so
me
they are
it's
very
time.
very busy, right? Okay.
Yeah, so in addition to working, I'm in the middle of my doctorate at the moment as well. So balancing two things. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So using one of the tools in your book, how would I address this challenge?
Yeah, by listening to you, well, we could see that you're a strong-minded person. If you decide something, you do it. And the obstacle you have is about the environment to use the Japanese that you would like to use, and also the time because you're a doctoral student. So you are really aware of the learning problems that you already have.
Yeah.
That's so clear. So so maybe those are the two areas you might be able to work on. And in this book, we do have that kind of how to, for example, on the screen, we have activity 17, create an environment to explore the target language. So you think about what kind of situations your target language can be used. In your case, you have really particular focus. So maybe talking with other professors or like, but in what situation? Maybe you have faculty meeting or you have a teachers gathering. Maybe you can think about what kind of situation you can use, or you can talk on your own, like self-talk. That could be a good practice as well. So you can use this worksheet to think about, sort out the situation you can actually use. Maybe you already have, but in some situation you're not noticing it. So this could help you. Or we have that's not on the slide, but we have some time management worksheets. So maybe that could be something you can kind of search using to see what kind of how you're using your time and visualizing them. We think that we know how we use our time, but when we put that on the paper or when you draw, sometimes you become aware of so many things that you haven't.
No, definitely. I think it's really important to write it down for sure. And so do you show, for example, here on the activity 17 here, I would write down the kind of situations I would try to find. So I should, first step one is identifying them, and then step two would be to make it happen, to search out those situations. Okay.
Yes,
Right.
that would be wonderful. Yeah.
Great. Do you have any other activities that you think would be useful
maybe
for?
yes, we can go step by step maybe. So just the principal one is just about how when you make a plan, people usually start looking at the future, but in our book we say start with reflection, looking at the past before you look at the future.
Of course.
So that's principle one, because many learners start by making a plan, but often those plans do not last. So in this principle, we invite learners to pause and reflect on their past first. And because when they understand their past, they can create a future that actually works for them. So we have activities related to this principle, like reflecting on your language learning history, remember your best self, or write a thank you letter to your past. And Miyoko sensei can explain one of the activities.
Yeah. This is an example of the reflect on your language learning history.
Okay.
In fact, this graph is mine.
Okay.
Yeah. For me, I realized that my motivation is strongly influenced by kind of relationships. For example, I joined an international camp or the summer course when I was a student, and it was just so fun to talk with people in English. So those experiences really motivated me. And and one funny thing I remembered when I was in junior high school, I really didn't like my English teacher. So I didn't want to listen in class. But at the same time, I didn't want to get in trouble for bad grades.
Of course. So that's the dip.
Yeah.
Where it goes
So
below the line.
my motivation goes down, but I ended up studying really hard on my own. So I hadn't thought about that in decades, but this activity made me remember that kind of memory
Right.
after many decades.
And I can see a trend as well, where there's a dip and then you take action and then there's another dip afterwards
Yeah,
and then there's another
exactly.
action. But the
So
trend
like
is
a wave.
mostly
Mhm.
going upwards, right, over time.
Yeah.
Okay, so this would be an activity that you would recommend to everybody.
Mm, mm. To reflect on the past, to reflect what we think about my learning experience,
Okay.
when our motivation goes up and down and so on.
Mm. Is this something that you have your international students do?
Sometimes, and they share the experiences, the stories, maybe especially in the first or the second class in the semester.
Okay.
So their relationship has very close to
Oh.
share their experiences.
And your students are able to narrate their language learning history in
Mm,
Japanese already?
yeah.
Wow.
Many international students have learned various languages, not only English, but also German, Chinese, Korean, and Japanese. So they compare the wave or the trajectory of each language, and it's very interesting.
Okay. So this would be, step one. If I was going to start this notebook, I would begin with this.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And this worksheet can be downloaded through our website. So please visit our website and download this activity. It's for free, so you can try it anytime
That's
without,
super helpful.
yeah. So you can kind of experience what it is.
Okay, so I've done that. I've made my history graph.
Mhm.
What's next?
So we move on to principle 2, which is about getting used to thinking about your future. So
Okay.
after reflecting on the past, learners begin to look ahead. So they imagine their future and create a vision that is meaningful to them. And then step by step, they start turning that vision into action.
Hmm.
And once learners have a vision, the next step is to design a plan that fits them. So we
Okay.
have activities related to principle 2, such as things I want to achieve in my life, which is one of my favorite activities. And we have imagine your next 10 years activity. We have create a vision board activity. So it's
Okay.
full of, visioning your future is
Okay.
about principle
Can
2.
we
Mhm.
see?
Um,
Do you have any of those or
we don't have
no?
that on the slide
Okay. Okay.
today.
That's fine. That's fine.
And the next one is going to be designing your own plan because you have looked at your past and you have envisioned your future. So now you're going to look at
Mm.
your present self and try to learn how to design a plan. And many learners try to follow a perfect plan, but that often does not last.
Right. Right. Of
Yeah,
course. Yeah.
right. So in this principle, we encourage learners to design a plan that truly fits them, a plan that is flexible, realistic, and sustainable. So we have
Mm.
activity 8, which is called if-then planning, because our life is full of events happening. So if-then planning helps them if something happened beyond what they have scheduled. So this really
Mm.
helps. So if-then planning is something, yes, that could really fit
Yeah.
to their real life.
In my experience with advising students in the class or trying to encourage them to engage in this kind of activity, they can be okay at making the initial plan, but often their goals are very unrealistic or they are a little vague sometimes, or perhaps the method they choose to achieve their goal doesn't match the goal very well at all. So that's where in the classroom, it's my job. We try to, bring these processes out so that everyone can talk about them. And then I'll try to do some course correction, try to, help them at all. How is that accomplished in the book? If the book is intended to be used alone, like
Mhm.
without a learning advising expert,
Right, right.
without a very experienced Japanese
Mhm.
language educator or an English teacher. Yeah, how does that troubleshooting
Mm-mm-mm.
process take place?
So we have, of course, lots of like tools, but those tools are always followed up with reflective questions.
Okay.
So they have to look back and not only like doing the activity and having the reflective question right after. We ask them to revisit that activity once in a while so that they can see the differences between the time when they have actually done the activity and like, you know, like 3 months later.
That's
And
great.
they can raise their awareness towards their past self rather
Okay.
than having advice from someone. Your past tells you a lot, so
Mm,
that's how we try to encourage people to reflect on themselves.
that's really powerful.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's what we believe. So
Okay.
yes, so shall we
So
move
design.
on to
Yeah,
because
let's
Miyoko
move
says
on.
is going to explain another activity in the next principle. So the next one is principle 4. It is about paying full attention to your present self. And this includes recognizing your strengths and weaknesses and understanding when you learn best or choosing resources that fit you. And based on this awareness, you can create more realistic and achievable plans. So we have activities, something like calculate your remaining time. So Tom, you said you have some time management problem. If you do this activity, you know how much time left so that you can start creating.
That would be helpful.
Yeah. It's quite scary actually, because you say like, let's say you study 2 hours per day, you have 90 days ahead of you, and you can calculate how many hours you have, and that's
Ah,
sometimes, you know, less than you think.
yes,
Life is short.
Right. Life is short.
exactly.
Yes, and we have questionnaires to find out your learning preferences. Like you learn better by seeing it or listening it or like acting through. So we have the questionnaire. You can just tick through and count the numbers you ticked and kind of look at your preferences. And we
So
have some
this is,
suggestions.
yeah, it's like mindfulness, being mindful of yourself and your
Yes,
learning preferences. Okay,
exactly.
I see.
Right.
Mm.
And we have the next one is really quite the major activity we have for this book that Miyoko sensei would like to
Yes,
get.
and this activity is called the goal setting pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
And this is an example, the someone who wants to earn a master's degree in the graduate school. Maybe this is the dream or the big goal for her or him. And this activity helps them to divide their very big dream into some realistic steps. And for example, the next one, the skills or the habits that is necessary to make this dream come true, like academic language skills and financial foundation and so on. And the next one, the activities are really necessary to do that, like reading the latest research papers or discussing their
course.
contents with colleagues, writing a research proposal, and so on. And the fourth layer here is the short-term goal. Like in this notebook, we set 3 months, 12 weeks as
Yes.
a one term. But it depends on the schedule. For example, if you have some examination on the July, maybe it's a deadline. And so, to something like to achieve an overall score of 7 of the IELTS at the end of the year, and so on. And the final step is to divide the step to make action now. So it's very small step, like buy a textbook and
Yeah.
find and read the papers and find social media groups and so on. So these activities helps the learner to make their learning process more
Yes.
concrete and doable one.
Yeah, I also used this tool in my own research,
Yeah.
my own classroom teaching as well. It's very, very helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about for me? So in my case, what would I do? So the dream goal is, better mastering pronunciation of specialist vocabulary. Okay, that would go in
yes.
the top.
Yeah,
the
maybe
dream
like
goal.
you can go higher. By
Sure.
accomplishing that, what can you achieve?
Okay, so that would be the second step of the pyramid then. Okay, all right. So then, dream goal would be, a feeling of satisfaction or validation when I
Validation,
can.
yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
Your
so when
keyword.
I next go to an art gallery, for example, and I want to just read the text very quickly, I can do that and feel pleasure at that. Okay. All right, so
And
that's the
now we
top.
can see your facial expression is getting lighter when you said that. So we
Shiny
can,
eyes.
yes, shiny eyes, yeah, exactly, right.
Okay. Okay, so then the second tier would be, specific vocabulary knowledge about pronunciation in a domain, different areas. How about the third level? So what would I put in there?
What do you think you can put? How can you make as a habit to improve that?
So this would be me searching out opportunities to
That's right,
use
that's
this
good.
vocabulary that we identified
good.
before. Okay, so that'll be level 3.
Mhm.
And then level 4 is a short-term goal. Okay, so I have to, come up with some, does it matter? Is it my choice? Could be 1 week or 1 month
So
or
this notebook is for 12 weeks. So let's say
okay.
like after 3 months or something, 12 weeks,
Okay, all
what would
right.
you like
So
to achieve?
okay, so within that, like 3 weeks, okay, I think I'd like
I mean,
to.
12 weeks.
Okay, so within 12 weeks, yeah, I guess I'd like to be able to, read out loud like a specialist article about oil painting, let's say. Yeah, something I enjoy, art. Okay, all right,
That's wonderful.
right. And then the things to do now would be immediate actions, right? So I think this part is hard.
Well, I think you just said it, like you want to read art oil painting book.
Yeah.
So it might be good just to maybe start finding what book you would like to read or any kind of website page that you would like to read.
Right. Yes, that's true.
That kind
Right.
of thing.
So,
Yeah, just choosing is fine as a first
specific
step.
websites or specific
Yeah,
books.
that's something you can start today.
Great.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I feel set. So
Yeah.
is this activity 18 is an example of a activity you think everybody should do when using the book?
I mean, like it's preferred because like it's so easy for us to lose the big picture. But when we create this, like you can see where you are going. And actually, I'm a really heavy user of this goal setting pyramids. I have created so many pyramids in the past. Like I create one pyramid per project, actually. So when I was seeking for PhD, I created one pyramid. When I'm writing a book, I create one pyramid. Of course, like when we are writing the learning mindset notebook, I create one pyramid.
Yes.
I have so many pyramids, and it's really working for me.
Yeah, in my when I used this tool in my doctoral research, I called it the SDG for the semester dream goal, so that the students had they could get the joke about SDGs, which they all know, and the semester is the period of time. Yeah, as well. No, it's very helpful for them. Okay, that's great. Okay, are there
and this can be downloaded through our website. So you can visit here and just download the pyramid and use it for your own
that's
learning.
really user-friendly.
Yes, we try to be. So the next one is principle 5, which is about letting your motivation guide your action. So many learners think motivation is something they either have or do not have, but we encourage learners to understand their motivation and how they affect their learning, right? By noticing when motivation increases or decreases and understanding what drives them, learners can respond more effectively to their situation. It's not just going up and down, but they know the reason or they can predict when it's going down or up. So that's really helpful. And so we have activities like discover your source of motivation or switch your perspective. This is another my favorite activity. You try to see things from different angles and aspects and try to get different perspectives.
That's also very powerful.
Yes, I really like that one as well. So please take a look at our book. Principle 6 is about keeping record of your learning journey. This is quite the core principles of the Learning Mindset Notebook. And recording is not just about tracking what you did, but by writing things down, you begin to notice patterns or trend in your action, your thoughts, and your emotions. And through this process, learners can reflect more deeply on their learning and continue to grow. And so we have some calendar formats that Miyoko Sensei would like.
Yes, in this monthly calendar, you can write your goals and what you want to focus on and reflect at the end of the month on how things went. And this file is also downloaded in the publisher website. And maybe this is very useful to make the action more visible to do. Yeah, and the next one, the task calendar. You can write down the daily tasks such as reviewing vocabulary for 5 minutes before going to bed. And no language learning tasks are also welcome, like make stretching or cook my dish by myself or something like that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are quite bad at this, so they need support in doing it. So yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah, some students put stickers rather than just checking and it's so fancy.
Okay.
And they decorate the page.
Yeah. And the next one is weekly schedule. So you can record your target study time and actual study time and satisfaction level and the keyword for each day. So there's also space for the weekly reflection. So, you can reflect what you do or you cannot do it in the daily or the weekly pace.
Okay. What do you think is the hurdle for some learners to try these kind of activities? Like, I can imagine a learner thinking, oh, I have limited time, limited resources, and these activities, or they might be useful, but it could also just be kind of bookkeeping or managing. What's the one thing they should do to help them see the value and of these activities, and then they can take advantage of everything in the book? What would you think? What would you recommend?
Yeah, thank you for that question. We're just about to talk about that because some people think that writing down, keeping record is so time consuming, energy consuming, and they can't understand why they're doing. So we encourage students to focus on 3 things: action, awareness, and emotion when they keep record. And first, about action, that is what they did. In most cases, people just record this, just action. So that's why they feel that it is not really meaningful, because just keeping action does not really mean a lot. So we also ask them to write about the awareness. This is what they had noticed about learning, such as, for example, in action, you can write about, I listen to podcasts on the train. So the awareness part can be something like, I focus better when I listening to something. So this person learns better by listening. And the third is emotion. We usually forget to focus on emotion attached to learning. Right. So people can just write about it was fun, or like writing smiley faces is okay rather than writing down. And here are some tips for people who are not really familiar to keeping records. First, keep it short and manageable. That's what we think is good. It does not have to be perfect. And you can just write something just like a percentage or smiley faces. That's fine as well. And it is also important to focus on what is directly related to your goals. So you don't have to keep records of things which are not your target for, because like that could increase your workload. So just focus on one thing that
Sure.
you would like to keep record about. And we encourage learners to record not only what they did, but also how they felt. This part is really important in terms of promoting learner autonomy. For example, they can use a simple, as I said, a satisfaction, smiley faces or percentages or symbol to keep records. And yes, and as learners continue, something interesting happens because they begin to feel that I want to keep a good record if they start keeping a record. That's kind of human psychology, right? If you have to keep record, you want to keep something good. So that's why you start acting something good. So this is a great cycle if it happens in that way. So the task calendar that Miyoko Sensei explained is a really good tool for people to get in that cycle.
Yes, right. The hardest thing is getting started.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So shall we move on to the next principle? So that is about be aware of your well-being. And well-being is not something that comes at the end. We believe that it is something that supports your learning from the beginning, not at the outcome of your learning. And in this principle, learners become more aware on their well-being and take small steps to improve it. And in Activity 25, we have this questionnaire. You can also download this for free.
Wow.
We have 24 questions you can answer. And by doing this, you can see the level of your well-being in 12 categories.
Wonderful.
So yes, this is not really the accurate one because there are only 24 questions, but it gives you some kind of idea or a basis to start reflecting on your well-being. If you have lower score in digital well-being, you can ask yourself why it's low. Or if you have high score, you can just imagine why it's high. So this is just a starting point of becoming aware of your
building the
well-being.
awareness is so important, right?
So Tom, probably, which area of well-being do you think language teachers or learners often overlook? So we have 12 here.
Okay, teachers. I think health, maybe, because teaching is a very stressful job. There are many demanding tasks, right, that you have to do. They're often not predictable as well, right? And can take either a short time or a much longer time, and unexpected events always happen. And so I think it's also a job that attracts people that are passionate about their work as well, which encourages them to give and give and give, maybe too much, perhaps, right? So I think that maybe the health can suffer, I suppose, from that. And also, if you have many classes and you're tired, you may be tempted to snack, to eat chocolate or something to keep your energy up between the classes. So I think health might be one.
Tom, you're right. I've done this with 200 teachers. And the lowest was health. Sleeping time, eating habits, working out, and all those things that they felt like they need more well-being in that area.
Yeah, that's important. That's important. So I think this tool is really crucial So
Mm.
bringing attention to that. Okay. And so that was number 7, right?
That was
Yeah.
number
That was number
7. Yes. And this is the last one. So finally, principle 8 is about developing your power of reflections. So reflection is what connects all the principles in this notebook. And so in the end, everything comes back to reflection. And by reflecting regularly, learners can sustain their learning and continue to grow. And they also learn to turn challenges and events into opportunities for learning. So they can transfer into opportunities. And through this process, they experiment, discover what works for them, and gradually develop their own way of learning. In activity 31, which is the last activity on this notebook, we have 30 reflective questions that you can ask to yourself. And even simply looking through the list of these questions can sometimes raise your awareness, because you sometimes resonate with particular question, and that means something to you. So we encourage people to just take a look at the list, which one stands out for you, and why do you think so? Those kind of reflective dialogue is quite powerful. Quite doing this activity, I quite like doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I mean, I think it's so important as well to bridge the intention and the action by doing this. Yeah, definitely. Miyoko Sensei, is this something that you use in your classes at the moment?
It is not my class, but I joined the Satoko Sensei's program, and we discuss about the reflective questions each other, and I found they choose the different questions. So maybe the interest or the condition differs from each other. So the question which is think is very important is different,
Of course.
very different. So to compare the kind of feeling with other people, I found my interest or the feeling more deeply.
Yeah, it's very easy if you can kind of use other people's experiences to kind of reflect back on your own, or to mirror your own. Yeah.
It's something like the mirror to reflect.
Yeah, definitely. Wow.
Right.
Okay, so we went through all of the principles,
Yes.
right? That's it.
So yes, those are the 8 principles, and yes, we could just introduce some of the activities. So if you're interested, please look deeply into this book. And we just would like to share how it works in practice, actually. And Miyoko Sensei, would you like to talk through?
Yes. We said before, we mainly use this notebook in group learning settings like classroom, but of course, it can also be used individually. And it can also be a great resource for language learning advising or coaching sessions. And you don't have to start from the beginning. You can simply pick the activities that match your needs or the interests. So we really hope you explore different ways of using it and find what works best for you. And this is the example of my class. I used this notebook as a textbook in my graduate level class.
Wow.
It is called Second Language Learning Methodology. This course is a part of the general education program for the graduate students. So students come from a wide range of fields, including the humanities and information science, law, and so on. And Japanese students also exist, and some people are the international students from all over the world. And one of the most unique features of this class is that students choose their own target language. So I usually teach Japanese to international students, but in this class, students choose all kinds of languages, like Japanese, English, Russian, Korean, and so on. So I
Wow.
don't speak
Multilingual.
Russian. Yeah. I don't know nothing about Russian or Korean at all. But in class, we focus on things like what they want to do with the language, what kind of person they want to become, and where they are now, and what
Mm,
the gap is between their current level and their goal, and how they can get there. So, and out of class, they study at their own pace, and every week they share their progress and any
mhm,
challenges they are facing. Through trying different learning methods and exchanging ideas with
mhm.
classmates, many students really build their motivation and confidence, and even develop sustainable learning habits.
Right.
Yeah. And one comment that made me especially happy was I never thought learning a language could be this fun.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
because it's about them and it's about
Mm,
their
Mm.
process, right?
yeah.
Is the center.
Yeah. They have many experience to learn languages, but mainly it is for the competition or the getting the good grade in the examination.
Yeah,
So they feel very freely or
of course.
very confident to make their study by yourself or
Right.
their own way.
No, I can see how this would be a particularly good use case for the book
Mm.
as
Yeah.
well. This kind of they're already reached the graduate level, right? And they're
Mhm.
being supported in the class
Yeah.
as well, but
Mhm.
also within the context of a learning advising relationship as well, and even on your own, it's quite flexible with all of the
Mhm.
resources.
Sure.
Yeah. Was there anything else?
Yes,
Ah,
and here are the comments from participants in our online teacher education course. And one thing we really liked was that many participants began to see reflection as ongoing process. And even
mm,
people said that becoming uncertain is part of learning. So we really like
Mm.
that. And some
Mm.
also said that writing and dialogue help them organize their thoughts and feel more positive about the future. So we learned that teachers don't have opportunities to talk through about themselves. So when we
Mm.
do workshops or courses with teachers, it's really hard for us to stop them talk in groups of pairs
mm,
because they have so many things that they haven't shared, but they wanted to share. So we feel like dialogue is really important for teacher um,
okay.
in yes, sharing themselves and reflecting on themselves. Um, yes, and as teachers, they said that they also saw practical value in this notebook, and some teachers already like purchased this book for their classroom usage. So we
Mm,
really hope it works well, and if they need any support, we're still willing to support them
yeah. Well, I mean,
throughout.
with so many resources collected together, it's helpful, right? That and
Mhm.
I guess teachers are often busy. They don't have the time
Yeah, yeah.
to go out and collect all of these things. So
Mm-mm.
yeah, I no, that's great, and I think it's really valuable. So yeah, I'm mindful of the time. We've talked for a
Yes,
long
yes.
time, for about an hour. So yeah, I guess that's is there anything you wanted to add in closing?
Yes, again, their website also in Japanese. So if you
Mm,
would like to download some materials in Japanese, there's a link for that, QR code for that. So please use them if you like.
okay.
Yes,
All right.
that's think about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So that was wonderful. So thank you so much for coming, both of you. I really enjoyed this book. I think practical resources are so valuable and so helpful without lots of academic jargon and language. So yeah, it's and it was lovely talking to you, and I feel like I got some great tips for achieving my language learning goals. So yeah, I benefited a lot already from our
Yes,
from our
I so
conversation.
we believe you're going to pick up one book for your
Yeah,
learning
right.
about oil painting.
Oh, but yeah, I gotta sign the declaration first.
Yes. And Shingeppo as your title of your notebook.
Yeah.
Right. So yes, Satoko Kato and Miyoko Sensei, thank you very much for your
Thank you so
time.
much.
All
Thank
right,
you so
take care.
much.